Hello, this is Susan at Shipwreck Beads. We are making Christmas elves today, and who doesn't need a elf? So we're making boy elves. He has just this fat little body, fun little crystals, because really who doesn't need crystals? Plump little feet, they are just fun, and who doesn't need one? So everybody does. So we're going to make him today. The characters, you can pretty much change out the parts. It's what is pleasing to your eye as far as sizing goes. So we're using a pretty big bead here for the body. If this ends up being too heavy for you for earrings, then of course these make great like zipper pulls. If you've got a fun Christmas sweater, you can put a lobster on it and just make it a pull instead. You can use it as a pendant and turn it into a necklace. Anything you want to do there, they are just fun, and so we're going to see how to make them. So we're going to be using a 3-inch head pin for these. They get pretty long. And then for the little tassel, I've got a 1.5-inch pin here. If you've got smaller ones, we're still going to cut off quite a bit to be able to put the little pom-pom on his hat. So if you've got shorter ones on that, that's great. If not, you know, I just never mind cutting off excess wire. If you're using sterling, then of course you want to keep those bits. They can always be melted down and that kind of thing. So never throw those away for just base metal. I sure do. I just toss them. But we're going to go ahead and make these then. So a 3-inch head pin. And then we're going to start from the bottom. So we're going to put his feet on. These are just some green glass drops out of a mix. And so I just picked out the green ones. I can use the other colors. You can see they come in a bag of just a gazillion of them. Well, actually 100. But you get all these really great colors, so you can certainly use those in other things. You know, who can't use little pokey outies in a piece or something? So I've got those going on. You know, I always use seed beads, so here we go. I've got size 6 in white, red, and green, keeping it festive for the season. And then, of course, the body. These are huge rondelles. This one happens to be opal green, 17 millimeters. That's a pretty big size for a rondelle, but they sure are fun. And then we've got crystal rondelles. Love those. I'm using the frosted white rounds for the heads for the white elves, and then I've got golden obsidian for the black elves. And then just a faceted round in green for his hat, you know, because he's an elf, so we have to wear lots of green, and then his pom-pom in white. So we've got his feet on, and then we're going to thread on the white, green, and red of his legs and his body. And then we've got this daisy spacer. It's out of our zinc line. You can get a bag of those for, you know, maybe well, actually I should look at the bag. Here we go. 100 pieces here. You get 100 pieces. They're about $3.50. So gosh, a super good deal there on daisy spacers. You know, you just put them in everything, so you just can't go wrong. And then the rest of these, like these came in a bag, and you've got the heads on a string. You're going to have a bunch, but if you make all the other characters too, and then of course you have to make them for everybody else, these make really great stocking stuffers. You can certainly use these up. So I know if you just make one pair, it can get a little spendy, but with these, gosh, I mean, look how fun that is. And that's not even finished. So we're going to go ahead and make an eye, and then we put the pom-pom in the eye of the hat so it moves. I do like stuff that has movement, and this little pom-pom is just going to flop around on it. So it just makes it even more fun. So let's go ahead and make the eye. Now I am going to wrap this eye, because especially if you turn this into like a a dangle off of a backpack or a zipper pull or something like that, it's going to get pulled on a bunch. And so I sure don't want that eye to loosen up and fall off. So I pretty much always wrap the characters just in case. You know, there's no sense being not safe. So generally 2 wraps is standard. So let's get that made. And there we go. So out of that 3-inch pin, I'm only cutting off 1/4 of an inch, so not bad. And just go ahead and cut him and soften that. Just tamping that tail down to make it nice and soft. You sure don't want to get scratched by it. Okay, so just like that, and then I'm going to grab my shorter pin, because like I said, we're going to cut off a bunch of it, and feed on the snowball. Oh, it's so fun. I look at beads and think what they could be. That could be a body, or those could be feet. Just fun stuff. Okay, now this probably won't be as pulled on, so I'm just going to make an eye out of it, and we'll attach it to, there we go, and lift that up and attach it to his hat. So I'm just going through that loop that we just made, and there we go, and harden that up so it won't go anywhere. And just like that, you've got him made. Now at this point, you can either put him on an ear wire. You know, ear wires just lift up, so you don't have to compromise the eye of your piece. So I'm just lifting up that tail. Depending on the ear wire, it's either going to be on this side or you flip it over and it's on the other. There just isn't a standard there. And here we go. I'm just going to close that up. And again, I'm going to tap that, harden that wire back up so it doesn't want to go anywhere, squish the spring back down, and we have just a really fun pair of elf buddies. Okay, so if we do the same thing using the black obsidian, I really like this. It's stone, so it is a little bit heavier than what you would normally be using for earrings, especially with such a large rondelle. But the thing with this particular stone is you've got all these golden highlights in it that just make it really great for heads. So let's go ahead and just put feet back on, and can't go anywhere without our boots. And then we've got white, green. Now really, if you want to put these in a different order, feel free. I like the green in the middle so it isn't right there against the body. And then of course our body and our neck and our head, and then our crystal and the hat top. Super fun. Okay, so let's go ahead and make the wrapped eye. Up and over, down and under. And then my 2 chain nose here, one to grab it and one to pull that tail around. There we go. We'll cut off that excess and tamp it down. So you can see these are just super easy. Really the longest part of the whole thing is deciding on your sizing. What size bead is going to look best for its purpose. Now I like really plump bodies and then smaller heads. If you like it the other way around, sure isn't any kind of law that says you can't do that. And whoops, I was actually making this one into a wrapped eye, and I don't need it to be. So I'm just going to cut off that excess here. Let's see which way. Oh, I did have it right. There we go. And get that on there. These are really fun too if you just put a like a rubber band or some stretchy cord here and wrap it around a napkin. They really make a table look festive and fun. And let's see, let's get the other one together. For the holidays, I pretty much find a project and then make it for every female in my family. So I normally make at least 12 of whatever we've come up with that year, whether it's an elf or Santa or Mrs. Claus, and pretty soon we're just going to have the whole group for everybody. If you haven't already seen it, there's just a really fun drummer boy, or I'm sorry, not drummer boy, nutcracker, and of course the Santa and Mrs. Claus. And we'll be making several different kinds of angels, because who doesn't need an angel sitting on their shoulder? Got our 2 wraps in. I hope you always point your wire into your bead cloth or bead board or whatever you're using, because those ends sure fly when you cut them off. And here we go, my little 1.5 inch. These do come in a 1 inch length. I find though that the gauge is thicker and won't always go through my smaller beads, and it's stiffer, and so it doesn't bend as easily. I'd rather cut off more pin and have it be flexible than to have to deal with a pin that doesn't want to bend quite as easily. And there we go. Got the little pom-pom on. And how about that? Are those just too cute or what? So there we go with Elf Boys. Hope you have a fabulous holiday and good beading to you. Have a great day.